right, everybody, we got the music telling us it's time to start the show. If you're just driving around, turn on your radio. This is called the Business to Business Network Show. My name is Rex Perry. I'm the host and creator of the show. We started the show back in 1999. It's an hour-long show, and we try to have different guests. We talk business, politics, and economics. It's a business variety show. We do talk a lot about real estate because it is the heartbeat of Maricopa County. And so our first guests are, we're going to start. Kate, give us your last name. Introduce yourself, please.
Kate Conway. I'm with Keller Williams Realty, Sonoran Living. Been a full-time real estate agent for about a decade now. Prior to that, I was a school teacher and principal in this Scottsdale Unified School District, and look forward to talking with you today, Rex.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
And Roland?
Well, hi, Rex. My name is Roland Bennett. I am a licensed mortgage loan originator, currently with Barrett Financial Group since 2018. I carry 39 state licenses across the country, and I've been slinging mortgage loans for 23 years now.
Fantastic. And familiar title, Brenda.
Hi, my name is Brenda Guillen. I am a bilingual escrow officer working with Navi Title. I have been in the industry just shy of 20 years.
Fantastic. Importante hablar dos lenguajes por el negocio de real estate.
Claro que sí. No hay mucha gente que habla
you're
dos
much better
idiomas.
you're much better than I am.
That was fancy, Rex.
I just threw that in there. Kate, let's talk a little bit about, we've heard a little bit about expired listings. Tell us what you found out there.
Sure. Well, I'd like to begin by just giving a little shout out to Mike Orr and Tina Tambour of the Cromford Report, who do a fabulous job of assembling the MLS data for the realtors who are members of the ARMLS. And today, any information that I give is going to be relevant to Maricopa County, and they'll be for normal sales, not short sales or bank-owned or REO properties. So in terms of expired, what we are seeing right now is a higher number of expired properties compared with the last several years, but honestly, we're still pretty average when you compare the number of expireds with the last 25 years.
And educate the audience what an expired listing is.
So basically, an expired listing is just a listing that did not sell. The seller had a contract with the agent, and it was for a specified period of time, whether it be 3 months, 6 months, a year, and during that time period, it did not sell, and then we say that the listing has expired.
Excellent. And then you've got another section here about canceled listing. Explain that situation.
Yeah, so a canceled listing is when a seller actually decides during that period that they are under contract with an agent to sell the property, that they no longer want to sell their property for whatever reason, and they cancel the listing. So this year, it's been a really crazy year for canceled listings. From the end of March to late August, Maricopa County has actually had the highest number of canceled listings in the past 10 years. And even it was crazy in July. We actually had the most canceled listings of any week in the last 15 years at 527 in late July. And currently, cancellation rates are up to 20% on top of what we've seen over the past 20 years. So, yeah, and typically these numbers remain pretty steady from now until early December.
But I think that's telling us something. For years and years and years, we've had buyers had to line up just to put an offer in, and sometimes there was a bidding war going on. So this is an opportunity for buyers because the sellers are willing to make concessions. Explain how that works.
Yeah, so I mean, it is an indication that there's decreased buyer demand in Maricopa County in the market, and sellers are having to be a little bit more aggressive with price and terms to attract contracts in this market.
So they're willing to make concessions, and that allows us to swing over to our lender, because sometimes those concessions can be a buy down, because sometimes they don't want to reduce the sales price because that's going to affect appraisals and comparable sales. What do you think, Roland?
Well, I think when we have the number of cancel listings, I think what that represents is that sellers they've listed their house, they were hoping to get a quick sale, they didn't get the quick sale. Everybody knows in the market right now that rates are on a downward trend, and a lot of sellers, I believe, are thinking, okay, we didn't pop right away. We're going to go ahead and cancel the sale, wait for rates to come down, because the natural progression of lower rates is higher prices because people can afford more. So they'll say, okay, well, we'll wait for those rates to go down. Then we'll relist because we know that eventually it'll be a higher price. So maybe we'll stay here for another year or so. The ones that are desperate and don't have that ability to stay in the house for the year, and they're like, we got to get rid of this house because we're moving to Colorado or whatever it is, yeah, then they're going to be doing whatever they can to give out, sales concessions. And the typical seller concession for closing costs is it's been the same as it always been. However, a few years ago, the lenders started allowing the sellers to fund what they call the quote-unquote temporary rate buy-down, which is a little different than the traditional rate buy-down where you pay points for a lower rate, and then you got to do the math to see how long you're going to be in the loan to see if it makes sense to do that. The temporary rate buy-down is really not a rate buy-down. It's just it's a payment credit.
Right.
So you get a little lower payment for the first year, or the first 2 years, or first 3 years, or whatever, and that's all financed by the sellers.
It's prepaid.
So the sellers are coming out. It's kind of like a second little escrow account. It's a bag of money that the sellers are given at closing that you can get a little bit off your payment for the first 12 months, first 24 months, what have you. And the sellers are coming out saying, hey, we'll do the temporary rate buy down and lower your payment if you come by our house. But some, like Kate just said, are going, you know what, let's just cut bait and we'll relist next year when rates are lower because prices will be higher.
It's very important to educate the audience that you still have to qualify at the rate.
At the rate that you're at. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lower rate.
No.
So if you get the 6.5, you have 6.5,
and that's
you
what
just
you
have
to
a payment
qualify
discount.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now let's talk about when it comes to the escrow and the title. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do on your end.
Well, we are a disinterested third-party title company. We help facilitate the closing, the opening, the gathering, the disbursement, the recording of the deed. There's a lot involved that a lot of people don't quite know what we do. And we try to make it as smooth as possible. We help everybody. We help the lender, the broker, the agents, the buyers, the sellers. So we're in constant communication with all parties involved.
And tell us about the title insurance. This is very important also. Tell that side of things.
Well, when a buyer purchases a home, we want to make sure that they acquire that property with clean title, meaning there are no liens, no judgments, no mortgages. And that's also something that we do on our end. We have to help facilitate that all of that, if anything is on title, we have to make sure that it's paid off or cleared off of the title before we transfer the new property into the new buyer's name.
And you want to make sure that that's a marketable title. A lot of people are doing these quick claim deeds and different things. Tell us about that.
Please do not do that.
Yeah, be careful.
Be very careful. Don't go to an online website to
Do it
purchase a
yourself.
$25 deed and then go record it with the county. You are just clouding title. You're making it more difficult for when the time does come that you want to refinance or sell. We have to clean all that up, and it can be quite messy.
Yeah, you got to make sure. Now let's swing back over to Kate and talk a little bit about the typical best time to sell, because we were just talking about some people took their homes off the market. Tell us what you think on that.
Yeah, so it's a question that a lot of people ask me when they're looking to sell their home. When should I put it on the market? So the data, and I'm a big data person because I was a middle school, high school math teacher, and so I'm a big data person. The best times, most listings come on the market in January, then March, then April, then May. Highest number of closings are in May, June, March, and April, in that order. And that data really holds across different markets in the Phoenix area. In Scottsdale, the numbers are the same. In Phoenix, the numbers are the same.
Interesting. Now let's talk about the buyers, because we want to get buyers off the fence. This is actually a really good time. Tell us what you would do to entice the buyers to jump in the water.
Well, I mean, you hear this quip in real estate a lot, but you date the rate and you marry the mortgage or marry the home, right?
Yeah.
So so anyway, what I would tell buyers is that you're going to get a better price on a home now than you will when rates drop.
Yeah,
So
this is the time.
So this is the time to get the great price, and you can refinance later.
That's right, and you're not having to go into those bidding wars and line up, this stuff like that. Now let's talk about the finance.
Well,
go ahead.
we back up on that, because I think a very important thing she said, those months that you stated, Kate, were the highest number of months where homes are selling. That becomes a seller market in those months.
That's
was
right.
that May? Was that April? March, April, June, and July is what you said?
It's actually, correct, for sales.
Yeah,
So
spring.
that's for sales. That's for sellers. So what that means is that if you're a buyer, Buying not in those months are a very opportune time because the sales are down. Buyers or sellers are a little more desperate at that point. And so that's a really good time for a buyer to jump in. And as far as interest rates are concerned, they are going down. We're on a long-term downward trend in interest rates. And I've got a lot of clients that are on the fence. Well, that payment's a little high. I'm just going to wait till the rates go down and then I'll come. Well, you can wait for the rates to come down, but when they do, the price is going to be higher. So you're going to end up with the same payment.
Yeah.
You're just not going to have any equity.
Yeah.
So you buy. What I always tell people, you buy when the rates are high because you can always refi.
Yeah.
Just like what Kate said, the house is your wife and the mortgage is your girlfriend, and you can have as many. As long as the house doesn't know how many mortgages
really
you have. I'm
here.
kidding.
We're
I'm
going
kidding.
with the metaphors. All right, let's clarify also, Kate. You always want your buyer to get pre-approved before you even really start showing what they can look at, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because, I don't want my buyers to fall in love with a home that is going to be gone by the time they have their pre-qualification in order.
And this is the key also, is to get pre-qualified and also actually start setting things up with the title company. A lot of times sellers and different people will at least get something open and ready to go because you really want to get kind of a feel. Tell us a little bit real quickly about preliminary titles. Tell us about prelims.
I've had a lot of cases that we have agents and or lenders tell us to pre-open a title, and it could be different situations. Let's just say particularly a seller knows he has an IRS tax lien, but doesn't know if that's going to attach to the loan. Or a buyer and seller are going, two sellers are going through a divorce. They want to know what piece of the pie is each one getting. So we do offer that as well, like a pre-open title report, just to get it going and see what's there. And it makes it a little bit easier because once we have that open and we know what we're working with, once they find a buyer, we're pretty much ready to rock and roll.
Fantastic.
So it's not going to cause that delay.
That's what we need. So this is a great team to work with. How can people reach you, Kate?
I'm Kate Conway, and you can reach me at 480-226-0314, or you can just Google me, Kate Conway Realtor, and I'll come right up.
Fantastic. Phone number one more time.
480-226-0314.
And get pre-qualified with Roland. How do they reach you?
Well, like she said, you could Google Roland Bennett loans, and then it'll pull me up at Bear Financial. But what I want to just throw out is that you want to get a hold of me, get a hold of Kate.
Okay.
Because Kate is amazing. Her number, she was talking about cancel listings. Kate just happens not to have any of those. She prices houses right, and she gets them closed. She is an amazing. I work with realtors all over the country in 39 states. She is number one out of my entire list of agents.
Phone number?
602-513-3686.
Brenda
Guillen, you can reach me at 602-577-9801. And remember, I am bilingual.
Fantastic. Thank you all for coming down. We got to do a commercial break. Everybody stay tuned. We're going to be right back.